Listen on iConversation, man.
Charlie.regner.
You asked me about all the Christianity here in this room.
Yeah.
So I started reading about Jordan Peterson, as I told you, 12 Rules for Life.
Yeah.
And in that book, there was a lot of things that really hit home, you know. So he has all these rules. So one of the first rule is stand up straight with your shoulders back. So he goes on like and draws a comparisons to lobsters.
Oh.
So lobsters, when they are they battle out under the sea, and then the winner of the lobsters get all this serotonin in their body.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what's serotonin?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
Hormone or something.
Yeah, hormones. So they get really strong and they really like booster.
Yeah. Is it a happy hormone? Is it that one? So?
Yeah, serotonin. I think it's the happy hormone.
Yeah.
The hormone that produces all the good feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
So the winner gets this really extraordinary push of serotonin in their body, and the loser, he really gets like this reduction in serotonin.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter from how much the loser lobster has won before, it really fucks him up forever.
Okay.
So that's just the first rule. And then he has like this rule, the last rule that I really try to apply to my life is pet a cat when you encounter one on the street.
Pet a cat.
Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street.
Okay.
And that's just look at the bright side of life when you encounter them. So I actually try to, every time I see a cat on the street, I reach out and I pet him.
Oh, okay.
Because, and the thought about that is, life is tough, man. And you can really focus on the negative stuff.
Yeah.
But if you just see the light in everything, you will start moving forward towards that light, and you will start thinking in a more positive way.
Yeah.
And that's connected to like all our brain chemistry as well.
No, I mean...
pull this mic to your
like
face.
this?
Yeah, like this.
Is it like this?
Maybe I close you, just, like that.
This? Okay.
Perfect, yeah. So you were saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that's a... to see everything good in life, or in all perspective, like even if it is a downside or something, that's important in life.
Yeah, to always see the good side in life. Yeah, of course it's hard. And that's
not every people can do that. I mean,
no.
Some people will be so depressed, and they always think that why this is happening to me all the time, and things like that. And I mean, many people who like fly like fly like a bird.
Fly like a bird.
Fly like a bird.
What do you mean?
I mean, if the life, beats them, they try to fly like a bird from that from heat.
Oh yeah, they're trying to hide from the tough parts of life. Yeah, and that's where I think Christianity comes in, because he one story that really connects with me in the 12 Rules for Life book that he brings up a lot, even when he discusses things in public. It's the story of Cain and Abel.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you heard the story from the Old Testament, Cain and Abel.
Can you come again?
Cain and Abel.
No. Can you repeat?
The story of Cain and Abel goes like this. So there's two brothers. I think it's the brothers of Adam and Eve. No, it's not. It's the sons of Adam and Eve.
I know the story. Yeah,
exactly. So they are sacrificing to God.
Yeah.
Both the brothers are sacrificing as much as they can to God. At least they feel like they're sacrificing as much as they can to God.
Yeah.
But Abel is a shepherd, like a herder of sheep. And Cain is I think he's responsible for the land.
Yeah.
And Abel gets all the good stuff from God.
Okay.
And Cain,
I know that one brother killed the other brother.
Yeah, exactly. Cain kills Abel in the end. Because
so one is a shepherd who get all the good blessings from the God, and the other person didn't, is it?
Yeah, so the shepherd is Abel.
Yeah, okay.
So he gets all the good things from God. And Cain gets resentful because he feels like he offers or sacrifices at least as much as Abel do, but he doesn't get as much out of it as Abel. And so, but he really likes his brother. That's the thing about the whole story. He really idolizes his brother in the mind. But in the end, he kills Abel because he in spite of God. Yeah. So he feels like revengeful.
Yeah, exactly.
So he kills Abel because that's God's favorite. Yeah. And then
that's how, I mean, I heard that the sin came to the earth from the first generation itself. I mean, first man in the earth. Yeah. I mean, from that generation onwards, people started killing each other.
Exactly, that's the generation of Cain.
Yeah.
And the generation of Cain, or his disciples, or no, it's not called disciples. No. Like his the people who came after Cain. Yeah. Who are connected to him, they started to create the weapons of war and things like that. Exactly. And I don't know what Abel's like children created in the end, but I think it's good. I mean
that's much farther generation. I mean long back, so it's hard to trace, or like it's not written much in Bible, and it's hard to guess also. Yeah,
I think Abel is he's connected to Noah as well.
Really?
Yeah, so he's like Noah's great grandpa or something like that. Okay. And I think all the good people in the Bible are connected to Abel in some sense, and all the bad people, this is just a guess from mine, but I think when I read the Old Testament, like when they stack up all the grandpas of everyone, you can follow the line from Adam to Abel and then to Noah.
The generations are written there. Yeah.
And I think Abraham as well is...
it's connected from Abel.
Yeah. Okay. Don't crucify me, all the Christians out there, if I'm wrong, but I think that's the stuff. But anyways... Priyan,
yes.
Welcome here.
Thank you.
So that was a long introduction. Yeah. But
so is this the introduction now? I mean, is
it where now we can start the introduction. Yes. Yeah. So
let's start it.
Yeah, let's start it.
Score. Yeah. What do you call it?
Skål.
Skål.
So you and I met like 9 months ago for the first time, I think.
So we met first time in sauna.
Yeah, in the sauna as well. People who have listened to the podcast know that every guest I have ever brought on is from the sauna.
Really?
So, pretty much so. And also for those who's listening now, this will be a episode in English because you're from India.
Yeah, I don't speak much Swedish.
No, but
I just know a few words in Swedish.
Like skål.
Yeah, like skål. I mean, that's a must thing when you drink beer.
Yeah, exactly. Do you drink a lot of beer?
No, I mean, not much.
Not much, okay.
I would say that I started drinking a couple of beers like after coming to Sweden. I never drink it before. I mean, after my 32 years.
Okay, so there's not a big beer culture.
No, it's not a big. I mean, people drink it. It's also very common, but I was not into into beer or any.
Okay, so what do you drink in India for the most?
Tea, I would say tea.
Tea, okay, not spiked with any alcohol or something like that.
I mean, people drink a lot of alcohol, and there are a lot of local made and imported alcohol in India. But I'm not into that culture because my father was an alcoholic, I should admit it.
Okay.
And I wasn't felt so good like when he drank and,
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that I will never drink.
Yeah, most people who have like fathers or mothers who are alcoholic turn to that side. Yeah. I was in Uppsala now during Valborg, and it's a funny story because I met a family member of mine in the distance. Okay. I don't know how, but he told the same story that he's because we started to discuss like, are you drinking tonight or something like that, and he said no, my father was an alcoholic, so I decided to not drink because his reason was because I don't know how I will be if I drink.
Exactly. I mean that's my problem. I mean I don't know where to end when I start drinking. Yeah. So that's my problem. So I thought I will. I mean it's okay. I mean I'm almost like fit in my mind. So
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, you can have fun without alcohol.
Yeah,
that's what most Swedes don't understand. Yeah. Because I can come to like a party after which I have done after my work at 9 o'clock. Yeah. And people are drunk, and I can be like, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?" and be as drunk as them, but I'm not really drunk.
Yeah. And I often see that. I mean, people like are less interactive in Sweden.
Yeah.
Like the people take distance as a part of their culture. But once they drink, I mean, they are very close. I mean,
Swedes, if we can just connect the way we connect when we are drunk,
yeah,
like every day, a lot of things would be solved. And of course, a lot of fights would be started as well.
Really?
But that's just
I mean, sometimes we have this after work or some some things from the work. So we gather, like our team members all gather and have some fun with some beer or something. And sometimes I mess with some other things, like some other kind of beer, like IPA or
IPA.
IPA.
Yeah. I think that's Indian Pale Ale.
Indian. I mean, I don't know why it is called Indian Pale Ale. I never heard that in India. Maybe I'm not into alcohol or beer or something like that.
So it's not from India.
It's so sweet. I don't know actually. I cannot comment on it. Like. Is it from India or I don't know, or maybe why is it called Indian? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really drink IPA.
IPA, okay. Why is it that? Is it because of it is sweet and?
Yeah, it's sweet.
Okay.
It's like if you put too much sugar in your coffee.
Yeah.
So I just like straight beer, like normal beer, lager or.
And you take cider as well?
No, not really.
That's for kids or?
Yeah, that's for kids.
Okay.
I usually call my friends who take my guy friends who take cider gay.
Maybe I'm a cider gay. No, I'm not.
Do you drink cider?
I drink sometimes.
Okay, yeah. It's an indication for it. No,
I mean there are like non-alcoholic cider as well.
Yeah.
It's like a cola for me.
Yeah, I like cider. It tastes like it's sweet and like that, but. I don't know. I just have something against it to drink.
I mean, if you have a preference over beer, then nothing can beat beer.
No, exactly. But do you think like alcoholism is genetic?
Genetic? What do you mean?
Like, if like you said, your father was alcoholic. Do you think that could pass on to your genes, or?
It could be. I mean. I don't have that. I would say like this. I mean, I don't have an affection, or I never tasted a strong alcohol yet.
Okay, yeah.
But accidentally I took it, like when I was in Amsterdam or some other places, and I take like this is the part of their culture. Okay, let's taste it. What it is. Okay, then they say that okay, this is an alcohol.
Okay. So have you been to Amsterdam as well?
I've been there and to Germany, and I go to some cultural events and things. So then they say, okay, this is a small shot, take it. Yeah. And when I was in Finland, and I was in an Airbnb, and there were some friends who came from Mexico, and Mexico is a strong alcohol culture. I think so. I mean, really? I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe.
So they bought some of the local Mexican some drinks and from Mexico, and then they like, you should taste this, and we were getting so close into some conversation, and I have some candies and some drinks from Mexico. Okay, let's taste it. And candy was like extremely hot, like I mean,
like chili or something.
Yeah, like kind of chili. So and also they bought some vodka kind of thing. I didn't know that it was vodka, but I anyway tasted it, and then they said, okay, this is vodka.
Okay.
But I don't remember any of those tastes. It was like some...
and how did you feel afterwards?
I think I didn't feel anything. I mean...
Okay, maybe you're heavyweight,
Maybe
you can
I think
handle a lot of alcohol. And
maybe that's from the gene.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But so you came to Sweden for like 2.5 years ago, you told me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my story is like I born and brought up in India. Then I studied also in India, and after that I went to Dubai for work. I worked there for like 7 years in different companies. And my first company...
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 33.
Oh, you don't look like that. You
really?
look like my age,
Really? How old are you?
23.
23, okay.
Yeah, this summer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, all right, continue.
I mean, so I went to Dubai to start working, and my first company was Ericsson. Then I started, I was so lucky to be at Ericsson, because getting into such a company, coming from India and getting into Ericsson as a first company was really a blessing. I would say that. And my manager also was so kind, and he started telling about Ericsson and how I never heard about much about Sweden. And I remember that when I was in the sixth standard, I mean maybe I'm 10, 12 or something, I used to collect stamps. So that was one of my hobby. You remember, the stamps?
Yeah, the stamps on the letters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was much popular maybe in 90s or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I had maybe 100 country stamps during that time.
Why is that such a common hobby?
I mean, it was a common hobby in my school at that time.
Yeah, I feel like I know some people in your age and
Yeah.
upwards as well that I collected stamps when I was younger.
And I remember I had I think maybe 300 stamps or something. Of 50 different countries, 50 or 60 or I don't remember it, and it was very young age. So I remember I had a Sweden stamp somehow came to me. That's more or less what I know about Sweden. I mean, there is a country exists somewhere in the North Pole that
which you have a stamp on.
Which is called Sweden, and this is what I know. And then I was in when I was in Dubai. We had the world clock almost everywhere. In there you can see Tokyo, Stockholm, and it's called a world clock.
Okay. So, on the street, on the
No, it's in many offices. You can see that because in Dubai they do business with different parts of the world. So there you see different clocks like Stockholm clock, and Stockholm is one of the benchmark clock. I don't know the reason why.
Okay, maybe Stockholm is like a big trade partner to Dubai.
Yeah,
or something like that?
maybe it's so. I mean, I think from the Scandinavia or from all the Northern Pole countries, only Stockholm clock is there.
Oh, not Norway?
No. It's just wanted to show them. Okay, they take one country from different areas, hemisphere. Like Tokyo is there from Asian countries. And maybe Mumbai is there, and then maybe Istanbul is from I don't know, from Middle East or West Asia or I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah,
and North America as well.
America is also
Africa.
There. Maybe some point in I don't remember
South
exactly.
Africa, maybe.
Yeah,
could be there.
Exactly.
Or something.
Yeah, and Stockholm was one of that. And I was thinking, what is Stockholm? I mean, how can a city, I mean, don't offend me, how can a city named Stockholm? I mean, is it
what
something related
to... What do you mean by that?
Is it something related to the stock market or something like that? Yeah. And I was thinking, I mean, my thought process, I mean, I was so dumb, I mean, maybe during that time and thinking like this. So I was so surprised, Stockholm, is it a country? I mean, later in the year, I think that's so blissful to be in Stockholm and to visit these countries. Yeah, and
Are you saying that just because you live in Sweden right now, or
no? I like Stockholm, the vibe in Stockholm, and it's so amazing and so different from the rest of the world, I would say.
Yeah, Stockholm is beautiful, like in the old town. And
exactly.
Yeah, really
a
beautiful.
lot of what do you call it, waterfronts. You can see waterfront in almost everywhere in Sweden.
I really when I went to Uppsala now, as I told you this Wednesday, when I drove home from Uppsala. I don't know if you know where Katrineholm
I heard that it's very close to Norrköping.
So it's not I didn't drive the main E4.
Okay.
So when I drove just the landscape is so beautiful here in Sweden. You drive and hills and a big plain area with grass, and you can see deers and elks, and then this big forest. I mean, when I speak with the people, sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, when I speak with the people living in Sweden, I mean, they will say that they like all weather except winter. I mean. Nobody wants to leave Sweden in summer or spring or nobody wants to leave Sweden to different countries. They don't want to travel during the summer or spring. They wanted to travel only when it's winter or something like that.
Yeah, it could really suck when it's winter. If it's
But I really like winter also because coming from Asian country or from a warm country like in India. So the place where I was living during my school days and my home. So there the average temperature is like 20 degrees or 23 degrees. Average
Celsius.
degrees. Yeah, Celsius.
Oh, okay.
So you can imagine, I never see ice on the road till my 32 years of age.
Yeah.
31 years of age. So the first time I see in Sweden. So
Yeah, I just remember.
it's so amazing. I don't want to miss it, and I still like the Swedish winter also.
Yeah, I like it. I like them as well. I just remember I have a funny story about a friend of mine who's from Eritrea.
Oh.
And he told me that the first time he came to Sweden, it's like, and in Africa it's really, really hot, you know?
Yeah.
So he came during the winter.
Okay.
He came like up north,
Yeah.
like Östersund, I think, something like that. And he told me, I thought I was on a different planet.
Really?
Because this was cold as fuck.
Yeah.
And then he came to, I remember he told me he came to Motala.
Yeah.
And there in the winter, of course, there's ice on the lakes.
Yeah.
So it was ice on the lake at Motala. So he saw somebody walking on the ice.
Okay.
And he said, because he didn't know what ice was.
Yeah.
So he said, I thought it was Jesus walking. I thought Messiah was back.
Okay.
It's a different kind of thing when you arrive from a country that's so like far apart from the country you arrive in.
Yeah.
And you, of course, you have to have like a different type of adaptation to different kind of countries when you travel to Dubai and Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I took, I think, almost maybe one complete winter to identify like which cloth I should put on when I go out during different climate. For example, if it is rain, I should change the clothes. And I mean, it took me some time to, figure it out, like which clothes I should put if the temperature is this one. And, I should put, if I forget something and then I will regret like after 15-20 minutes if you are outside. Yeah. And I remember when I was in Helsinki in December and it was minus 30 degrees.
Oh, really?
And I went from Sweden. So the temperature in Sweden was like minus maybe 5, 6 or something like that. And I wasn't prepared with enough clothes. And I was staying 10 days in Helsinki.
Okay.
And I was taking the public transport. And I remember once I was in a bus stop. And it was so freezing, minus 30 degrees. I cannot even move. Yeah. And the bus is coming. I know that I should enter that bus. Yeah. But my brain is somehow frozen. I don't want to move.
So did you enter the bus? Or?
I entered the bus somehow.
Yeah. But I want to, because I'm really interested in your story.
Yeah, sorry. I just took
no
it
worries,
in the wrong
way.
way.
No worries. Yeah. We can take it out in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, okay.
But just to bring it back, so why did you leave India in the first place?
So the thing is,
and when did you do it?
Yeah, so I did it back in 2013 when I finished my bachelor's, and some of my relatives were in Dubai already, like my cousin and my uncle and everyone. So and Dubai is like, it's a fast country, if you know, in the TV and things. It's a
things go like fast or
yeah, exactly. I mean something like that. I mean the thing is, they have the supercars and they have the big like 8-9 lanes road, highways
and rotate. People like that.
Yeah, I mean so it's like a rich culture, I would say. Of course, as you said, things are going very fast. I mean the one fascinating thing about Dubai is that things like the service time, if you go to anywhere in post office or in hospital or anywhere you go, you will get serviced by a personnel in that office in 7 minutes. And that's the one time they try to reduce. I mean, even you are in an airport, like you are in a queue, the maximum queue time will be 7 minutes. And that's a different culture, actually. That's one thing they wanted to reduce. So
the queue time.
Yeah, the queue
in
time.
Dubai.
In queue. Yeah, exactly. Even you are in a hospital. I mean, you don't need to take appointments. You just go to any hospital and you will get serviced by the doctor or.
Okay. I mean, how do they manage that?
They hire a lot of people to do that. I mean, so in Dubai, the local people are just 10%, and 90% are people who works from abroad, like who come from abroad, from Europe or from America or from Asia or anywhere. So that's how they operate, and it's a rich country. So they have the the largest building in the world, like the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, like 170 floors or
Yeah.
something like that.
Have you seen the picture of Tom Cruise standing?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
And,
it's just insane.
yeah, in the Mission Impossible, is it?
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
think so, yeah.
I see that. And I was actually living very close to that building, maybe like half a kilometer away. So, and I was also living in the 46th floor of a building which is next to that.
Okay,
That
but
Burj
that building
Khalifa.
that you lived in was still like really small compared to.
Yeah,
Burj
exactly.
Khalifa.
And I was living in the 46th floor. I mean, the complete building is like 80 floor or something. And I was in the middle of that building, and I cannot see like how, I mean, every day I can see the Burj Khalifa through my window, the bedroom window.
Yeah.
But it was still so high. And
Do you enjoy living so far up?
I mean, it's a different experience. And at that time, it's a fast pace. So you rarely get time to spend inside your house. Like, weekend is like, I mean, there are a lot of things to do outside your house. There are a lot of beaches, or you can drive around. You can go to different places. You can eat a lot of different food. There are a lot of, it's an international environment. So if you want to eat Swedish food, you can go there and eat Swedish restaurants and something like that. So it's a colorful thing. I mean, so the thing is that, in Dubai roads, or even in Dubai, you don't see any dark places. I mean, the place without lights. So since they have a lot of fuel, like, energy is always there, like even on the roads. So I think compared to Sweden, I see that when you go like, far in the city, out from the cities, you don't see much street lights and things like that. So, if I compare, some things from Dubai and Sweden, I mean, in Sweden, like, some things which I like the most is the calmness and, the peaceful and the nature. And in Dubai, that's lacking. There is no trees there. I mean, most of the things are artificial. Like, they plant trees on the desert and they make grass on the desert and something like that. And here you see a lot of natural things like waterfronts and, some genuine things like the forest, hill tracks and things like that. And you will also see that in Dubai, but everything is man-made and, these things. And I like the natural environment and calmness.
Yeah, me too. First of all, I like it on the ground.
Okay.
I don't think I would like to live as high up as 46 floors.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have seen, but in Thailand there was like this, like a mini earthquake for like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
And some buildings just fell over.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous actually.
Yeah, and of course there's no really earthquakes or tsunamis here in Sweden, but I just like to be on the ground, you know. But at the same time, as well as the artificial lights that you're describing in Dubai, I feel like I really like Sweden in the way that we don't have so much lights, because you can really connect with the stars in a way that you don't really can do in big cities. So when I, for example, walk out here in Mantorp during like nighttime, I can look up to the stars and see all the zodiacs.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like that, and really feel like I'm part of a bigger...
The nature.
Yeah, nature, and also part of a bigger thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's quite a big city syndrome that you have like in Stockholm or Gothenburg or maybe Dubai and even like New York or every big city you have in all the countries around the world. You don't really feel like you're connected to the universe in a way.
Exactly.
So you feel like all your problems is the most important thing in the world, and like all the stresses you have, in some sense, when you just see all the stars and how big the universe really is, and you feel like this small person instead, you just realize, oh, okay.
Yeah. We are not the center of the world.
No, my worries are not really so important, you know. I can just let them go. I mean, just think about how short our lives are, like 80 years or something like that.
Exactly.
And then think of how many years ago the Big Bang happened.
Yeah.
Where it's such a small like time on this earth, and why spend it on worrying on small things?
Exactly.
You know?
And I would say that some people really like the big city culture. I don't know for what reason. I mean, maybe they can have so much fun during their young age, I would say.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of nightlife. I mean, maybe in some cities. And if I talk about Dubai, I mean, the thing is that, some people like that culture in some sense that, they can spend a lot of money there. Like they can earn a lot of money because what I understood is that they take zero tax on their salaries.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
So
how are they doing that?
They don't. Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, you can purchase anything. I mean, I think when I was there in 2018, they were not even you can buy anything from the supermarket, groceries or anything without tax. Like you can buy iPhone or car without tax.
Yeah.
And then they started adding 5% tax, and that's the tax they have, 5%. So, and you will get like full salary without any tax or anything like that, and they have the freedom to spend all their money, and that's the one reason people like going to Dubai and work for some years.
Yeah, and, especially those who earn a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, right? Because first of all, the taxes, that's quite a difference from how we have it here in Sweden, because we tax on a lot of things.
Yeah.
We tax on our food, we tax on our salary, we tax on our, everything we buy, we tax. And the real question is, where are all those money going? That's always the question, right? But have you seen also that Trump, I think, is trying to do the same thing, like this thing with all the tariffs that he's doing.
Yeah.
I think the main point he's trying to make, as I've understood it, is that he's trying to bring down the taxes as well for the common man.
Okay, maybe only in US.
Like exactly. Only in the US. He doesn't give a shit about anything else.
We don't get any benefits or any other countries.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing about Dubai, which you tell about all these great things that's happening there, no queues for healthcare, clean like streets, and the people are very, I assume, very happy.
Yeah.
But is that just, and also the crime rates are very much down in Dubai.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that just a consequence of all the, if we try it like a really simple explanation, all the rich people are together in one place, so they can have
I would say that, if I say that, the queue time is 7%, you can imagine the stress to the people who are servicing them. You have to be there in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Imagine the stress, so if you are in a healthcare professional, or I am into some IT sector, I worked in IT like all my life. So even you are in IT, if there is a downtime, like, my telephone is not working. I mean, the thing about Dubai is that, it's a hub of rich people, like, all rich people in the world, they have a small home in Dubai also, because when they go to some other places, like, they can have a small stopover in Dubai and, one night or 2 nights, and they spend a lot of money. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo, or, they have a big, what I know is that, like, they have some big possessions there in, like, all the celebrities, like, all over the world. I mean, whichever the language or which country they come from.
Yeah.
So they have some of their assets in Dubai. Like, I know that Justin Bieber, back in his golden days.
So okay, I didn't know that. Are you a Justin Bieber fan? Are you a Bieber boy?
No.
No.
He's So I know that, like, he drive a fast car and he got a lot of speed tickets in Dubai. Like back in many years before.
So have you seen that they are building like a big wall with like apartments inside of it?
I think that's happening in Saudi. Is it?
So Saudi and Dubai is not the same.
No, it's a different place. And Dubai is not a country, actually. It's a city. So it's the country is called United Arab Emirates, and Dubai is one of the city. So
the UAE.
Yeah, exactly. The UAE.
Is Abu Dhabi as well?
Yeah, exactly. Abu Dhabi is the capital of this country.
All the oil money they're buying up with. But
so the thing is that, there is a huge pressure when you work there. Like, you are supposed to answer calls after your working hours, which I don't like anyways.
So you had to do that?
You have to do that. I mean, so, sometimes they will stress you with different things. You get a lot of money, but you have to, pay with your stress. Like, that's the thing that they have. And I don't think, I have to do that anymore. Because, why, if we have some good options, like, why should we, stress a lot into these things and sacrifice your health in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. So which companies did you work for in
so I worked
Dubai?
in Ericsson, which was nice, which was great actually.
Good benefits.
With good benefits and good working culture with Ericsson. So the first project was like, I started working in 2013-15. During that time, I worked in Ericsson. So during that time in Dubai, there were no smart water meters and electrical meters. So before that, people used to go into every apartment and take down the readings every month. So one person who have to climb 80 floors up and check each apartment, like, okay, you have consumed 100 units of water, 100 units of electricity, and they go to the next apartment, next floor, something like that. So that was the culture. So that was the thing that they were doing it before. And now I think almost everywhere in the world it's smart things. Like you will get your electricity bill on your on your internet, email, or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
All over the world it is same. So Ericsson got a project from Dubai government to replace all the the manual meters to electrical smart meters. So I was one of the consultant who involved in Ericsson, who deal with the government of Dubai, and we worked on a project, project, and we replaced all the manual meters and connected to the internet. And after that, all the tenants able to, get the electrical bills and water bills through their email or the smart app.
So how was it did you have any connection to like the higher ups in the government of Dubai? Or
no, it was just a small group of department somewhere in the corner.
Okay, somewhere in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was like automation process.
It was a kind of thing. So I studied electronics in my bachelor's.
Yeah.
So it was electronics and communication. So it also comes with a lot of networking things. I was very fascinated into how the internet works and how the data flows from one place to another place. And then I was also into optical fibers. That's through which the data transfers from one country to another. So for example, if I call from here to Japan or to India, so all our phone calls and telephone or internet, even you browse something from Japan or India, so you can get it through the optical fibers, right? So
what's optical? What's that?
So optical fiber means it's a connection. It's a kind of cable, which doesn't use electricity at all. Like it just takes light signals to transfer, because light is the fastest thing, to transmit. So we get the sunlights, which could, what I know is that it takes like 6 minutes or 7 minutes or 5 minutes to get the light rays from sun to the earth.
Yeah.
So light is the fastest thing. So we use light to transfer data from one place to another place. So even if it is a video signals or it's a audio signals or telephone calls or you browse something on the internet, so everything comes through the lights. Okay,
so as well as so when I upload this podcast, it's like transformed by light.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
It transfer through the lights.
Yeah.
So the thing is that so we record in this studio or in this apartment. Yeah. So we use this mic, and this takes the sound signals and they convert into electrical signals, and it's stored in your storage device, even if it is in a cloud or something like that. So from the router, you have a router in your house, like it takes from that router to the next place through, usually it is through optical fiber. I would say that ISP. So if you have a Telia or what do you call it, some other network service providers, and it takes through, usually it takes through optical fiber. The reason is that it's so fast, and it can also takes through electrical cables like this. But the problem with the electrical cable is that there are a lot of attenuation, and it always required power, like electricity. And light signals doesn't need a power, like it's just light.
You know what I'm thinking about right now when you speak?
Yeah.
how come so many? Because I told you I had a question before the podcast.
Yeah.
And the question was, why are so many Indians so goddamn smart? And at the same time, my question right now is, how come so many Indian people are so involved and really interested in like this tech, this tech sphere, and like trying to evolve it? Because I feel like there's a lot of Indian people in Silicon Valley as well. I can't really name one right now, but I know I've seen many Indian people connected to AI and tech development and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the real reason.
No.
But I would say that you're right. Like, many people who works in different companies, like they are into IT and things. Like if you look at Microsoft or Google, like the CEO of Microsoft is Satya Nadella.
Yeah.
He's an Indian guy. And maybe the Google CEO, he's Sundar Pichai.
Is Nvidia's also Indian, or is it?
Nvidia, maybe, I don't know. I think it's still, the CEO is still Korean. Is it Korean?
Yeah, I think so. It's the same CEO that has been for a while.
Exactly.
I feel like.
Yeah, and PepsiCo was an Indian guy, and Twitter was earlier, like before converted to X. It was, I think, Parag Agarwal or something like that.
Yeah. So I know if an Indian person is talking about tech, I know he knows what he's doing. He knows what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, so I always take like, if I'm going to invest in a tech company, I would like to listen to an Indian first, what he has to say about it. So, but you have had this interest in tech for a long while.
I mean, I'm from my very early age, I was, interested into technical stuff, like fixing small like toy cars and things like that, into motors and things like that, like LED bulbs, fixing it, and maybe that's one of the reason. And I remember, like in my childhood time, like we had a code phone, like the what do you call it? We call it with the dial tone, like beep beep beep.
Like a standard phone.
Standard phone, yes, with wires.
Wire.
With wire phone. What do you call it? Like.
So it wasn't not like a phone.
Exactly.
Ring. Oh, I don't know what it's called, but no. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are you that old, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was like back in the 50s or 40s.
Maybe that was the thing in India during the 90s. Like maybe in Sweden it was in 50s. Maybe in India it was in the 90s.
Because I think we had. I don't know. Maybe I don't know when the flip phones came first.
Okay. So I think the first flip phone that I saw maybe in 2003 or 5 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So in the
maybe you have seen it before.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm born in 2002,
so
I don't know before that. But AI wasn't really a thing when you started to. All with this tech.
So the thing is that I worked in Dubai in Ericsson first, and then into a couple of telecom companies like Telia. So it's called Etisalat and Do. These are two different telecom companies, like Uninor or what do you call it? Which telecom operator do you use?
Tele2.
Tele2.
Yeah. Tele2.
Yeah, same like that. They have each country have different. Yeah, 3. And each country have different operators. So in Dubai, I work with 2 different ISPs. We call it ISP because Internet Service Provider. So they give the internet and TV connections to all homes and all SIM cards they provide. So I work with these companies, and it was nice. I got a good idea about how the telecom things work and stuff like that. Then I went back to India.
After Dubai.
Yeah, after Dubai, I went back to India.
Okay, I thought you came right to Sweden.
No,
because that would be a big difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, I worked in many companies and different cultures. So it's so for me, I'm not very like what do you call it? Very bounded person. Like I won't say that I need this or. Because I have seen different cultures, and I'm okay. I can understand like people and how things work and how cultures work and things like that. And then talking about my career, I went back to India and I worked in another telecom company. So I was into this telecom guy most of my life. Then I worked there. So then I worked in a technology called IoT. Internet of Things. So where we connect each and everything to the internet. I mean, now we see that you have Google Home or Apple Home. You have Alexa and these things. So you can say to these devices like Alexa, turn on my TV, or like you can say Google Home, play my music, set my alarm, make the Roomba start working. I mean, the robo vacuum cleaner.
Isn't that scary in a way?
I mean,
because from my point of view, you always have somebody listening to you.
Yeah.
And you don't know. Of course, it's just Alexa. But you don't know if we know like our phones are definitely listening to us. If we start to discuss like, oh, I need food for my dog, or I need to buy some toy for him. I know that like in a few hours when I check Google, I will have an ad that's like recommended for dogs and toys.
And I would say that it's not scary as we think in our fantasy mind. So it is scary in somehow, and we always have to be cautious about like how we sign up to different apps, and who we share our data to. And maybe we can trust some of these. I won't say it completely. I mean, 50% I would say that we can trust these big companies because they have the survival thing in mind, or they have all the big policies or government entities are focusing into them, like for example Google or something like that. So sometimes what we does is that we will go to the App Store or Play Store and we download some random apps. For example, scan a document. How do I do that? And okay, let's look in the Google Play Store or App Store. Okay, I found an app. Just download it, and we don't read it. Okay, just scroll it up, accept it.
Yeah, all the.
I mean, who have time to read like 10 pages and yeah, exactly.
And but that's also.
And that's right. I would say that's not advisable or recommended. If you don't have time to read, don't sign up for it. Or at least there is an AI way to do that, and you take a screenshot of all the things like what you see, like the policies and
the terms and conditions.
Because we wanted to know that who they share our personal data to.
Yes.
Because it's not allowed, or it's not recommended to share what my height is, or what my age is, or what are the things in my home. Or so suppose if I'm taking a document photo or scan a document, okay, I take a random app. So suppose they are keeping this document in their server for like 5-6 years, and they are sharing or selling this our documents to some other companies.
That's what I've heard, that some of these tech companies are selling like our information to get more money out of us.
Yeah, I mean I would say that's ridiculous. Because that's not recommended, or they shouldn't do that. I mean,
is that happening?
It's happening a lot. I mean, companies do that for. I mean, they want their portfolio to be expanded, or they wanted to make more money in some sense. I mean, they don't care. Like, okay, they have health data. Let's say, my blood group, or what's my liver condition, or what.
Why do Instagram need us? For example. Why do TikTok need it? But because one example is we definitely know that TikTok is selling our data to the Chinese Communist Party or the Chinese government. And I think Joe Rogan talked about that on one of his podcasts. He really took a day when he read through the TikTok terms and conditions.
Okay.
And I don't remember all the things about it, but it was kind of fucked up because it pretty much stood that they're selling your data, and they have all these, they can see what you're doing on other apps and all that information. But do you think it's, when it comes to not TikTok, but like, for example, Instagram and Facebook and other like tech companies?
So the thing is that, we are in an AI era where, AI is almost everywhere now. I mean, we don't see that very often. I mean, companies just projecting few of the things into us. Like, what we know is that we know ChatGPT or some of the photo apps, and, they can change things in some way. And we use these AI tools almost every day in our life, like ChatGPT to send emails, or, make a better draft of something, or refine our thoughts into something. And some way it's not recommended to give our personal data to any of these AI tools at all. Like, don't share your photos or anything into these apps, because they can use that data to train their AI model and make something new.
Like what?
The thing is that, suppose if I work in a company and, if I am using an AI tool and I'm sharing a lot of my personal data or my organization data into the AI, for example, ChatGPT or the Microsoft Copilot or something like that. So, they can use that data to train their AI model. So if somebody asks, for example, Charlie asked, like, do you know a person like named Priyan? And, so AI always works with the training. So it's like, we can see AI as a person. We as a person, we see things and experience things and learn or update our learnings. For example, how to make a coffee. We make coffee, fail once, and make another coffee, maybe a little better, third coffee, getting better, and something like that. And fourth coffee is perfect coffee, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's same like AI, and we train AI with few data and more data, something like that. So we as a user are feeding our data. Like, we say that is two spoon of coffee powder is enough for a coffee, and then we update our thing. Have you used ChatGPT or something?
Me? Yeah, I usually use it if I have I study, and also if I have a topic that I have to study for this podcast or learn. Yeah. I usually use Grok.
Okay.
Like Elon Musk's. I don't know why. It's just how I have done it.
And you can use whichever you are comfortable with. I mean, if a Copilot or Grok or Google Bard or anything, Gemini or anything.
I don't know. I've listened to a lot of what Elon Musk has said, and of course you shouldn't. My principle is you might not trust the millionaires and billionaires of the world, but at the same time, I feel like I trust Elon Musk more with my information than a person like Sam Altman. Okay. So that's just why I use it. Yeah. But in they're getting my information anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
But you can also delete your data from your these things. You can just type it like delete all my personal information.
Oh,
and
really?
They will just delete it. I mean,
they delete it or?
They just delete it.
Okay,
we don't know how they process their data, because that's their internal secrets.
Yeah.
And it's assumed that it should delete it. I mean, as per their public policy, they should delete it.
Yeah, because that what I was going to ask you also was what do you think the motivation is when they collect all your data and information? Is it just for being able to sell it and then making even more money, or is it some other
No, I mean, they can use it in any ways. For example, I don't like personalized ads anyways.
No,
it's not my thing, because it's like somebody understand deep inside your mind. I mean, technology understand deep inside your mind. I mean, for example, maybe you don't like maybe you think that you want a new iPhone, and suddenly when you take your phone, new iPhone is 10% discount, and you feel intrigued, and
exactly,
you don't want to do that, so you want your time, and take time to understand things, and you don't want somebody to push you, or you bought your phone or your TV, and when you open your TV and it's saying new iPhone, a new discount, you don't want I don't like somebody else pushing me so much to buy this. No. I'm so much resistant to that. And
it's a form of what do you say in English? It's called grupptryck in Swedish. Yeah. So when a group of people, if you out and drinking, and you don't want to drink, and a group of people tell
peer pressure.
Exactly, peer pressure. So they tell you have to drink. That's the same with the advertisement, the personalized advertisement.
Yeah. Well, in some way, I don't like it. I mean, this is one of the disadvantage. I think that this will happen. Because if you search for iPhone all the time, I mean, it's normal that they will sell you. Somehow they will try to sell you the iPhone in some ways. They will play with your mind.
Yes,
exactly. You are watching your favorite TV show, and they know that you are in a happy mood.
Yeah.
And if it is a salary time, and they will try to use it that time. I mean, Okay, you think that, okay, you have a money, okay, you open the bank app and you check the balance already, and which make you think that, okay, you have some money in your bank to spend, and then the companies try to sell you, something like that. And in some ways I don't like it. People try to use our energy and
and that's the thing as well, like we think that the phone is one part, and then the computer is one part, and the TV is one part, but everything is connected because your account is connected to everything.
Exactly.
If you have the YouTube account on your computer, your phone, your TV, all the things are connected with each other.
And even we don't want to connect things, each other, and they will try to do it in their back end. I mean, they will assume that, okay, I live in this place and I have a phone which is connected to the same Wi-Fi and TV. Even if it is a different account, I mean, it is, even if it is in the same account, they will assume that, okay, these two things are in the same room for like 2-3 months. So it is assumed that this owns by this one guy. And they will group it in some ways. And
that's a thing as well, that they know when you're sleeping. Because they know when you don't use the phone, and they know when you wake up. Just you set the alarm, for example.
And the thing is that these big companies, as you said, these big companies know better than you. I mean, they know you better than you. I mean, what you think and what you think on which time, or
what you search for.
Exactly. They know better. They know you better. Like some ways, like what you eat and
all your different types of porn
favorites and things like that.
And things like that. That's crazy, man. Because we don't really have privacy anymore. We live in a world where privacy is really rare.
I would say that privacy is one of those a rich status now. Because it's very hard to be live in a reserved life nowadays, because we are observed in many ways from satellites and cameras everywhere, and even in our phone we have cameras, and we don't know how often they looks at us.
Exactly.
Sneak into our privacy.
When I use my phone on at work, I usually drive around a lot. So sometimes on the screen in the car, there's a little man who's with glasses and a hat, and I'm thinking, what? I still don't know what that means. Is somebody? Does it mean that somebody's watching me right now, or because it's like a little detective? So I don't know. Maybe I should look that up or something.
And if you remember, like many years back, like Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, so he accidentally recorded a video of like how he walks and things like that, and people noticed that his camera on his laptop is covered with a tape. So I think it's a Windows laptop or something, but he still don't trust the laptop.
He
covers, he covers with a tape, and I was so shocked. I mean, even he is a big guy, and he know much about technology. He don't care. He value much about the privacy, and he wanted to ensure that nobody sneaks him through the camera and things like that. He covered it with the tape.
It's just insane. Nobody is private anymore, and as you said, it's so hard, and you can't really be that, because we all want the next phone, we all want, and that's a thing that's driving this technology forward as well, because our human nature, we are so materialistic of us, so because of that the technology keeps advancing. Just think about when the first iPhone came in like 2007 or something like that, and think how far we've come now.
Exactly.
So I heard this argument, like, so the iPhone is pretty much 20 years old. And think of it like a human being. How much has this, or like a normal creature or something like that, how much has this creature developed in such a quick time? And now we even have this large language models as ChatGPT, and they're trying to develop this AGI as well. I don't think that AGI is a thing right now.
I mean, so that's the hardest part, when living in digital world, and when we are getting more advanced into AI and AGI, as you said. So some people predict, like Elon Musk, I think once said that AGI will comes in 2 years or something like that. Like
from now?
Yeah, I mean 2020 27 or 28, somehow he predicted. And some people, I mean, it's not a a deadline to on the particular date that AGI will come, something like that. No. So some people say that it will come in 5 year or 6 year or maybe 10 years or something like that.
Could you explain what AGI is?
So AGI is some kind of general intelligence. So which means that the machines will surpass human intelligence. So I got a chance to study AI from Jönköping University. So my thing is I was working in India for some years, 2 years after I worked 7 years in Dubai. So there I work with a lot of small sensors, and these small sensors. The company that I worked in India was called Vodafone. It's maybe you have heard it. Vodafone is a UK-based company.
Okay, yeah.
So they sell these small sensors with the network to different small companies, other companies. So we sold I think 10 million small sensors to different companies. You can imagine 10 million sensors are taking real-time data and coming to one of our server. And I see that it's a huge data, and I thought, okay, somehow I need to know how to manage these big data. So then I thought, okay, AI is the next thing because it also handles a lot of data. And I Googled how can I study AI.
And when was this? Which year?
It was in 2019. I started 2019-20. I started looking. So how can I study AI? Yeah. So then I looked into internet, and this Jönköping University came first.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
When you were living in India?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I didn't know Jönköping had that AI culture in them.
I mean, somehow it's it's so popular.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the search engine optimization, or somehow, or actually it was best. Actually, it's one of the good universities. And also. They have some core specialities in XAI, explainable AI. So I was searching these things in the internet, and I thought, okay, I will go to Sweden and do my master's in AI because it's so connected to what I worked and what I studied previously, and what I think the future is. Because we will always get some career in this technology. And it's so fascinating to deal with something futuristic, and it's also, I thought, very important to know AI. Since we are into this world, we should know how this works and things like that. So then I thought, okay, I'll come to Sweden and do my master's, and I did it in Jönköping University for 2 years, and it was a great experience. I mean, first of all, it's a different study culture in Sweden. I mean,
before you go into this, can we just take a quick break here?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we're back. So you were speaking about your experiences here in Jönköping at the University of AI.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was actually, I feel so happy about my choice.
Yeah.
For coming to Jönköping and did my masters in AI. Because I met a lot of educated or very knowledgeable people in Jönköping who are expert in AI, about the teachers and the core students, and it was a good time for me to compare how the studies in India, and I also did some small courses in Dubai. And
on AI?
No, not on AI, into networking and other stuffs. So I could able to compare, how the education system in Sweden and in India and in Dubai. And Sweden, it's strongly based into research. That's one good thing I like about. It was so and a lot about practical stuffs. So coming from a different culture, and I really appreciate these things. I mean, you do a lot of things by your own, which is really nice because you trigger a lot of your brain to do these stuffs, and how to think outside the box to solve problems. I was so happy. And then my life while doing my the masters, like I interacted with a lot of companies in Jönköping as a part of our studies. Like every subject, we have to do some project for some companies in Jönköping.
Yeah.
So we interacted with a lot of companies, which was nice.
Was there any big was it just Swedish companies or was
everything
American?
was no Swedish companies.
Swedish companies,
Like
okay.
I would say that those are SMEs, small and medium scale companies.
Okay.
And we made a lot of AI things to those companies.
Yeah.
Like a prototype or a study or a research to some of their problems, and everybody was happy about their solution. I mean, the solutions we proposed to their companies. And one good thing about AI is that AI can solve some problems with some cost-effective ways. The thing is that for example, if we want a big machine to do some work, maybe AI can do in some small ways, like with a camera or something like that.
Yeah.
So one example, if I can give, we worked for a company, I think Finn Mechanic in Småland. Småland in Jönköping.
Yeah.
So they were making metal parts for other companies, like milled metal parts. You know what I mean?
No.
Like they take like metals and they chip it. I mean, for example, think about a screw. How the screw comes, like they chip the metals.
Oh, okay. So the marks in the metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
So some metal parts from this Finn Mechanic was using in the fire sprinklers, which we use in the buildings, like fire sprinklers.
Yeah.
The water comes. So it has to be exactly in that measurement.
Yeah, so the sprinkler can go around.
Yeah. So there are CNC machines which chip the metal parts. Like they take the extra metal parts and make it in exact shape. So it's a conveyor thing. I mean, so they make continuously, like one in a minute, and it just flows 24/7. Think about it like that. And some of these have some defects, and it's hard for people to look in through the microscope and see if there are some, this is good or bad. And sometimes they had a problem that some customers say complaints that because there are small extra in it. Even a person who doesn't have a good eyesight cannot recognize it easily.
Okay, so that AI really helps.
Yeah. So AI really helps. So we try to propose that okay, camera can do it in a simple way. I mean, so they checked with some big companies and they said that okay, we have a good like a mechanical thing. So this can take out the bad things like easily. I mean, okay, you just need to pay 2 million or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So did that take away work from humans in any sort of form, or was it just a work?
I'm completely against that point, because AI will take some jobs for sure, but it will add a lot of jobs. So
I've heard that argument.
Yeah, I mean that's a common argument. We hear it all the time. Like imagine, like before the invention of cars or electricity or internet, like we always think, okay, many people think that it can take a lot of jobs. So imagine, like before the invention of alarm clock, you know how they wake up people. So
there was somebody coming and knocking on the door
with a bell, and they hired a person. So this person is hired, and he have to wake up like 4 a.m. or maybe 2 a.m. and he have to walk to your place, and they have to in a big pole they put a bell, manual bell, and they just bell it until you wake up outside your window.
Like
imagine you live in the second floor and they have to like raise a 2-floor big pole, and
and that's the argument, right?
So he lost his job when the alarm clock, like the manual alarm clock invented. But somehow, I mean, none of the jobs will lose, I think, because it will add new jobs.
Because my view of it is like, if that's because that guy was just one guy, he came around and rang the bell at apartments and the houses. But when it comes to AI, if we take like the place you work at, like Toyota, so at like the big industries, if AI will replace all the people there, we will have a lot of people who will be without work. And also, when it comes to that, many people define themselves, especially men, in their work. So if they don't have a place to go to, they will feel like aimless and goalless and maybe soulless in a way as well. But
I mean, I would say that this technology disruption happens all the time. I mean, if some new technology comes out, like all technology will always go out. So you can imagine, like, to talk about the scanners that we talked before.
Yeah.
So now we use our phones to scan all the things, and we don't need the big copier machine to scan the documents. I mean, we use it in many places, but we can do the same things with a small phone and things like that. And it's also predicted that in next 10 years, like some of the jobs that going to extinct is doctors and teachers. And it's it's predicted. I mean, you can imagine, I mean, what Apple Watch does these days. So imagine, like, Apple Watch is one of the Apple product. Like, they started maybe 10 years or 15 years back, and they evolved during these years. So now they can take the blood oxygen, ECG, they can send it to your doctors, they can check your heartbeat, and imagine, like, what else is coming, like,
Yeah, I can see that, but my view on that would be like those were the jobs that wouldn't be replaced, just in my mind, because if I go to a doctor, even if a human he has his flaws, I would like it to be a human being, because he sees my emotions. It's the same as teachers.
I mean, what if an AI can do the same thing? I mean, they can tell you, okay, it's all right, and it's nothing to worry. And I know many people who have suffered the same thing, and many people are recovered and telling the facts and truth.
Yeah, it would be in the tone he's saying. If he says like, it's all right. Yeah. I know many people. That would be quite
not in a robotic voice.
But okay, man. Yeah. If you say so. But yeah, that's wow. I didn't know that. I really thought, like, I mean, working with people would be still be a thing. You know, in healthcare.
I mean, we are talking about only the good things. I mean, there are a lot of bad things as well.
Yeah.
And talking about the good things, about the medical things, like, one of the project that I worked on when I was in Jönköping University, that the stethoscope that listens to the heartbeat by the doctors and the health professionals. So it can listen to the heartbeats, right? So a company in Jönköping is recording the heartbeats. Like, for example, you say that you have a fever, and it listens to what is the fever heartbeat looks like. Okay, you have some problems with, you have some pain or some bruises or something like that. And what is the bruises patient heartbeat looks like? And they use like 100,000 or some huge data, patient data, to train the AI model. And just only listening to the heartbeat, they can predict, okay, this guy have this disease, or probably this disease in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, like sometimes health professionals can be wrong, like they just guess wrong. Yeah. It's all about, like what they learned before or what they seen before in their life. I'm not saying that, they saved the human life till now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I really appreciate it.
It could be like in especially in healthcare, when you look at things like Neuralink as well.
Yeah.
People and I as well are pretty like it's a controversial idea of putting a chip inside your brain so you have like everything here all the time. But one argument of it is it can really replace some handicaps that people have today. Yeah, exactly. Like eyesight can come back. If you're blind, you can have your eyesight back. And also things like the nervous system. If you're handicapped in a way that your legs don't work, there's an argument that Neuralink could like help that in the future as well.
And I won't completely I won't agree to the fact that it should replace some doctors or something. No. Or I would put it in this way, that it should help the health professionals to make their decisions in a better way. It should help them. I mean, the doctors or the nurses, they take the assistance from the AI and make a better decision than they currently do. And there is a common example in AI where it can detect the breast cancer, which much good precision than the doctors. Like, I think that's very very cool, right? I mean, detect these cancers in a very early stage with the precision, like, with a good precision.
Of course, and that's what we want, right? We want AI and Neuralink and like large language models to be just an arm of ourselves. We don't want it to take over our lives. We want it to be an assistant or just help us with the things we want to be helped with.
Yeah, and I think it's very cool. Like, we have this Google Assistant and things, and we all have this imagination power, and we can imagine, like, how AI will be. And my imagination would be like, we have a camera somewhere, like Google cameras, let's say. It's very common in everywhere.
What did you say?
A Google camera.
A Google camera.
Google camera. Yeah.
What?
It's a small camera, home camera. You can connect it to the Wi-Fi to look after the pets and when you are away.
So you can see what the pets are doing when you
get home.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
So imagine, they look at you every day and telling you, okay, you have some bruises, like you can see, you cannot see, and you have the blood pressure is this much today morning, and let's go for a walk. Suggest something. Yeah. Maybe 29 minutes of walk can reduce the. I mean, if it is that much precise, I mean, it could be cool and. In some ways, and it's imagine, like, this technology is reminding you to take water and take breaks, reduce you from anxiety or depression or like stroke or something like that.
How much do you feel like we should fear it being like? Well, if we go back to talking about AGI, so AGI is this thing where the AI eventually will surpass us human beings. Yeah. And of course it has AI and ChatGPT and Grok and large language models has really already surpassed like the most brilliant people on our planet, like in giving out our information and things like that, or giving our information. So how much should we fear AI being like the top predator, the apex predator on Earth in the future?
So I was listening to one of the talk from Elon Musk. If this technology goes far beyond our control, definitely it's a natural thing. And he was telling an example of, we are making a road, a black tar road, and we see a pile of ants there, and we are just making the road, and we don't care about the ant ants making a pile of home there. I mean, we just take it over it, and it will be. And he's saying that it will be like that, and in terms of like if AGI surpasses far ahead of human. Then it don't care about, okay, there is a human civilization. Fuck it, just go.
Yeah, exactly. And if he feels like, if the AI gets information of all the bad things human beings have done on Earth, and if it surpasses our limits, why would it have us left? It wouldn't have any like. It wouldn't have anything to do with us anymore. And if you see it's like, oh, we are polluting the oceans, we are overfishing, we are being nasty to each other on purpose, we're making animals feel pain, we're everything like that. Why would it keep us here? I don't know if you've seen it's a fiction, but I don't know if you've seen Age of Ultron, Avengers. It's like this, it's like the AI comes to alive and this robot, and he says like, why you humans have really destroyed the Earth, why should you be here still? So that's like the utopian future. But that doesn't, we always have this idea that as well that the world is ending. So no matter what it is, for a few years ago it was climate change and the oceans will rise, and now we are saying like underpopulation and we won't have any kids anymore, or like the Cold War, like when the nuclear bomb, for example, was dropped on Japan. We thought, or the argument back then was, oh, this will just be a common thing now. We will just drop nuclear bombs every time we have a war. But a nuclear bomb hasn't been dropped since that time.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we just can manage this technology in the right way, and especially if the right people are developing it.
I mean, that's where the regulations come into picture.
Yeah.
And, I will always, careful, or I will always tell people not to share too much personal data into the social media or into any of these apps. Like, there are many like app-based or web-based companies in the world, and most of them used or shared servers. Like they used, it's like your laptop, and I make a folder and you make another folder, and everybody can use the folder. So that's not fair, right? I mean,
no, not at all.
So
if it's my information, it's not fair.
Exactly.
Why should it be so?
So many people, many small companies, they use shared servers. Which is not right, or which is not fair. So we should be always careful about what data we compromise. We are ready to compromise. It's not about our dopamine or personal or satisfaction for one day or something like that. It's a long-term thing, and we always have to be careful about what if we have some kids or something like that, and don't share too much of their pictures and things into the internet, because we are getting into an era of deep fake where one image is enough to make a movie.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, right?
I mean,
because
even they have a movie. I mean, in the future, they have one picture of me right now. They can make a child of me. They can make a 10 years ahead of me from that image, and they can make a full lifetime movie. And they can, people can bend the stories in somehow, bend the realities in somehow.
Yes.
And they can manipulate things they can manipulate I never been to Jönköping, something like that.
But
so
I and the argument. So when you talk about deep fakes and things like that, we can make a video right now of you, Priyan, saying something that you haven't said.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with politics and politicians and so as well. But I heard an argument that, like, for example, it's still going on probably, but a few years ago, 10 years and 20 years ago, we had this movement of Nigerian prince calling us and telling us to...
I heard that, Nigerian prince and
Nigerian
Indian Microsoft.
Exactly, telling us to give them some money so they can conquer their own land or something like that. And now we will just say, oh, grandma, that's just, don't pick that phone up. It's bullshit. So we're living in an age where deep fakes are just coming up. So right now, I even think people nowadays in our age, they are skeptical to these things, and it's just to be source critical, and our kids will grow up with that, so they will be. It will probably be a subject in school, source critics of deep fakes or something like that.
Exactly, that's very important to learn. During the childhood, that realizing the fact that using the internet, they can do much more things than we imagine. As you said, they can make things that we never said. They can show pictures of the places that we never been to. It's a time, actually, we cannot trust these images at all that we see in the internet. We don't know it's a AI generated image or it's a real image. It's that close. So 2 years back, then one of my professor was telling us that there was a competition happened somewhere on the earth about drawings or some kind of artwork, and AI won the first prize or something like that. So so they give a theme make an so this is the theme, a palace or something like that, and a queen is sitting there. So they gave the same prompt to an AI, and AI generated the same thing, and they won the first prize.
And you just wonder, is Hollywood fucked as well now? Because Or it will be, first of all, it will be much cheaper to make a movie with AI
Yeah, exactly.
than to hire all the actors,
Yeah.
all the producers to get everything in right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a business that will go down.
Yes.
And there's probably even
And that's
more.
also a new business. I mean, so
Yeah.
imagine that I'm making a AI movie of Tom Cruise
Yeah.
with without Tom Cruise in
Yeah.
the movie. It's only AI generated. And then finally I made the movie and went to Tom Cruise and say, I made a movie of you. I just want you to sign that if you see this movie and
Yeah.
ready to be published, and you don't need to do anything.
You
You
will
will
get a
get
check.
this money.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I won't think that he will never say no.
No, of course not. It's just free money, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well. Have you ever heard the argument of universal basic income?
No.
So
I think I heard about it. Yeah.
yeah, so it's this idea if AI will really revolutionize.
Yeah. Sam Altman was saying that.
Come again?
Sam Altman.
Yeah, so I think he's had an argument about
Okay.
that. Joe Rogan as well has
Yeah.
discussed it.
Okay.
He was really for it a few years ago.
Yeah.
But and it has been a real thing in all this. When AI has come up, they talked about this universal basic income. If AI will take jobs away from people, people will have to get money from somewhere.
Yeah.
So we will get a check, so it covers our housing, our food, everything we need to survive. And then human beings can focus on being creative to find what really drives us and what really fulfills our soul and things like that. My argument against that is you can just look here in Sweden how many survive on what is it called in English? Bidrag. Do you know what it is?
No.
Like you get money from the state.
Okay.
How many survives on that? And I feel like if we just give out universal basic income to everybody, I don't feel that everyone will have this thinking of pursuing what really drives them.
But I think that's an argument that he put in our mind to shut it down and against AI, because normally people are against AI and people are very skeptical about AI, how this goes and will that take our job. And then he says that, okay, don't worry about losing your job because you will get your money. You will get your free money or something like that. And I think like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe
that could be it, you know?
So they wanted you to slow down a little bit.
So do you feel like they might not give us universal basic income then in the
I don't know, how do they generate that income? I mean,
yeah, that's
do
the
you
thing,
think
right?
do you think these companies will compromise for it? I mean, okay, we have a lot of money. Okay, you take this money.
Yeah.
I don't think the companies will take that.
No, because if you go back to the argument of them selling our information to getting even more money, why would they give us that money just for doing nothing for them? Of course not. They will. Human beings we are greedy in our nature. We always want more, and that's the thing also that's pushing this. We are like driving towards a cliff, and we are just really pushing and driving as fast as we can, and then whoops, a cliff is here. We don't know what to do with it. We really need to lay the basis of how we going to deal with it once AGI is a thing. And I don't know if you have any solutions to it or a thought to it, or because it feels like the race to the moon during the Cold War was between the US and the Soviet Union. Now it feels like there's a different Cold War with AI between China and US.
Yeah, exactly.
So Elon Musk has called for a pause on all AI development. Yeah. But if US does that, China won't do that. So it will keep going anyways.
Yeah. I don't think, other countries will listen to Elon Musk. Like, if you
not
say,
anymore.
Okay. I mean, it's like, like Tesla built their self-driving cars and he showed to the world that, okay, this car is driving without any driver sometime. And then then the car made some accidents and he thought that, okay, there should be a driver and he should be awake and he shouldn't be sleeping.
You want some water? Yeah. So you were saying?
So, Elon Musk was one time where, much advanced in the technology. it can use computer vision like cameras to navigate the roads and to do the self-driving cars. And Tesla was much advanced than all the other competitors, like few years back. And then he realized that, okay, there should be a driver who should be awake during the travel time. And then he said that, okay, every country should stop developing AI. I mean, that's not fair, right?
No, that's not fair.
because he is much advanced in AI, and now the other countries they are having that pressure. Okay, US or is much advanced in technology, or the other car companies, let's say, and nowadays these Chinese companies like BYD or other car companies, they are much advanced than Tesla. I mean, people say that, and one of my colleague in work who says that, okay, he wanted a Tesla before, and now he's much into these Chinese cars because they can do much things with a lesser price than the Tesla cars. So
it also brings me this sad note that Europe is doing nothing with AI. I mean, the only developers are US and China.
So I heard an argument today morning that the first automated driving cars happened in Autobahn, Germany. It was in 1989 or something, like first automated cars.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it actually.
When was it?
1989.
1989.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I know, like Hitler, he did a lot of bad things.
Yes.
he did a lot of bad things. I'm not defending him anyway, but the science during Nazi Germany, they really developed a lot of things, like the Autobahn and all the things with the cars. I mean, Volkswagen was developed during that time as well, right? Somewhere there. And I don't have any more, but I know that they develop a lot of things with technology.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, so Germany is one of the world richest economy in the world. I mean,
and they also used, I think, a lot of speed, a lot of crack.
Yeah.
So I think they took a lot of drugs as well to really. That's one of the things with how the Germans really pushed into the Soviet Union. They just filled up their soldiers with crack and speed.
Really?
So so they just
what is
doped
crack and speed?
I think crack is maybe not crack,
some
like
drugs.
Yeah, drugs.
Okay.
Like I don't know the specific drug, but like maybe like a cocaine substance or something like that. So they really just pushed forward every time. And I think like Hitler also used a lot of drugs.
Like
There's a video of him at the Olympics in like 1940s or something like that. He's just sitting like this and really shaking.
He was high.
Really high. But anyways, so I don't know. I feel like Europe is behind in that sense.
I mean, that's actually, I feel like that's true in some sense.
Yeah.
Because is it nice in some sense, like, because to slow down the technology progress and live in the real life before we expire?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we will be dependent on either
other
the
companies.
US or China.
Yeah.
And if we will either of them, I don't know which one is better, because as we talked about, both of them are collecting our information. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's also the thing I don't quite remember, but that's the thing about open source as well. Because I think OpenAI is not open source right now. Is it?
No, actually, the thing is that there is a free version of OpenAI and ChatGPT, and there is a premium version. So if you want to use the latest model, which is O3 and O4 Mini, which I think they released like 2 months before, which is much advanced. So the capability of O3 and O4 Mini is like a PhD level. So it can solve complex math problems that humans will take like maybe months or weeks to solve. They can solve. They argue that they can solve quickly. I haven't checked it.
No, okay.
So and OpenAI also have a enterprise version. I mean, they sell APIs to the companies. I mean, so we can take a small API of OpenAI and build a company. So the only thing is all our data is going to OpenAI, and then it goes to the thing. I mean, so Apple Intelligence is, the Siri is also using ChatGPT in some ways. So if you ask some questions to Siri, like usually what they does is like they give some Google results. It's searched in the Google and give some results. But I think in the last their event, so they revealed that they are also using ChatGPT in giving us some better results.
Okay.
So the only problem is we are giving our information.
You really don't like that.
No,
I
don't really like it. I mean,
today.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
but
true.
It's good. It's good. But I noticed that you really don't like.
No,
that
I don't like to
information.
take our personal information to any companies. I mean, I'm completely against it. Yeah. So I'm little back into the technology right now because I don't want so many apps in my phone to track everything, and I just constantly monitor what are the apps I use. Only the big things I use, like Facebook or Instagram. I mean, we don't have any choice to connect with.
Do you have social media like Instagram and Facebook?
I do have, but it's all my private profile. Like I don't reveal my profile photo or anything. I mean, not because of the reason I'm socially away from anything. I'm only because I think that maybe technology can misuse us in some ways.
Yeah, and that's
but I still wanted to connect with people because I still have maybe 1,300 friends in Facebook. The school friends and college friends and the people from the workplace and things like that. Yeah, I still wanted to connect with them, and I wanted to know the close circle, how do they work and things like that. It's very cool, right, to connect with the people that you have met in the past.
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. It's like a really, just imagine 100 years ago.
Yes.
Now I can call somebody in India as FaceTime and just, if my mom goes there, I can just, how are you, Mom? I'm here with Priyan here and recording a podcast.
Yes.
That wouldn't be possible for even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also a really good thing.
Yes.
It's just there's good things and there's bad things.
Yeah, exactly. And we want a balance between this, and I would always say that we should always use our common sense to identify what's good and bad thing in when using this technology.
Yeah.
So use your common sense and think about what you need to share. So for me, I want social media. I use them. I talk with people, or I chat with my friends and send memes and across it. But at the same time, I don't want any third person that I don't know to steal my information and check so what he does and how much money he spend and those things like that.
There's a fear of missing out as well.
Exactly.
Or missing out on news, or missing out on parties and things like that. But if you just think okay, if somebody really wants to connect with me, they will call me or they will text me. Or if there's a really problem going on in society that I really need to know about, you will hear about it in some way. You don't need Instagram or Facebook or X to get the news.
So if you remember, before the Face ID, we used to unlock our phones.
I have iPhone, and I my iPhone, it's available to use Face ID.
Okay.
I've never even got it. I know that they might see my face anyway, but I just feel really weird about looking up my phone by using Face ID.
I can imagine before the Face ID, it was the thumb ID. We used the fingerprint to unlock the phone. And I see a video. Somebody was how to sneak people's information.
Yeah. Do you think that's just a way of them getting even more information?
I mean, so what I see is that they went into somebody's social media to unlock their phone. I mean, they looked at some of their pictures and they see the thumb picture, and they can clearly see the thumb lines, and they make some mold of it and use that to unlock the phone before. And I feel so crazy. And
yeah, the word is crazy, man. Right now. I mean, we will just see how it goes. Yeah. Will you get the Neuralink if it's possible in say 5 to 10 years?
So I don't want my brain to be operated, and I don't want to sell my what's happening in my brain or what I'm thinking to Elon Musk in some ways.
No,
I don't want to do that. But I wanted to use that, if I want to install a Neuralink in my brain and install Swedish language into it and use that to communicate with you in a better way, then it will be useful.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can download all the languages in the world, I mean, it's so easy for me to connect with the people.
And I don't even think we would we wouldn't need to talk if everyone had Neuralink.
Yeah.
We would just use telepathy.
Yeah.
And that's also, I mean, when we discuss this, there's good and there's bad.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
good and bad.
Yeah.
So the bad thing would be about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why I had this here. I don't know. Have you read this, 1984
no.
by George Orwell? Do you know the story about it?
No.
It's like, it's a fiction.
Okay.
So he writes it in a sense of, like the Soviet Union was during Stalin.
Okay.
So everyone was watched. You couldn't trust your neighbor because they would inform to the state, and then you would everything like that, communism and totalitarianism. But the story is in London, so but it's based on that.
Okay.
Like the Soviet Union. So in there they have like this Ministry of Truth, and they also have the Ministry of. So you can have like the state wants total control of everybody.
Okay.
So there's a crime in the book that's called thought crime. So if you even think about like the state is bad or this person is bad, no, they don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it, because so everyone is scared about even their family being informants to the state, and that now we are really discussing like the ultimate negative future, but. If the wrong persons are in power and they can really, everyone can see what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be quite crazy.
Yeah. So I would say that like world is evolving in a different ways, and so sometimes they wanted to tax you, like if you think about this, you need to pay tax. And I remember like in India, like maybe 500 years ago, there was a tax if you wanted to grow your mustache.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to pay tax.
Okay, I will stop growing this.
Then some people might be paying a huge tax. Right?
God damn, man.
No, I mean, so that was some crazy period during that time.
When was this?
Maybe 300 or 500 years ago.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like 50 years ago or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
So world is evolving in a like people are understanding. Okay, I was doing blunders during this period, so now I have to change.
But if we can read each other's thoughts by Neuralink, I mean, in some sense, you wouldn't be able to lie. I mean, lying would not be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So politicians that are thinking about lying and manipulating their story and everything like that, we would know directly.
Do you think politicians will do that? No, I don't think politicians will install Neuralink. So they want all the people should install it.
Yeah.
And they don't want to install it in their ways. And maybe they have like a premium version of Neuralink where their data is protected among themselves.
Yeah.
Like they don't want the other parties to steal their Neuralink information.
So they will tell like Elon Musk or someone who is developing it can you change our chips so they can't read our
definitely they will give 3 plans, like basic Neuralink, premium or advanced or pro version.
Yeah, and the advanced will cost like 300 billion to
something like that. Then in that you can understand other people's thought and everything, like by looking into it. And I don't think that will be. I will take. I will sign up for any of these.
Have you ever looked into the simulation theory in some sense?
No.
No, because there's a theory, right? And it's connected to AI.
Okay.
And there's 3 possibilities in the future for us. So it's either that we are... so the simulation theory is that we are living in a simulation, in a video game.
I heard about it. I mean, in one of the Simpsons cartoons.
Simpsons, man, they predict a lot. They predicted Trump to be president as well.
Yeah, so they predicted a lot of things.
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
see that in Simpsons theory. In cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but the theory is like this: either we develop as much as possible with AI. And we choose not to further develop, and then it will not be a simulation, or humanity will like be erased in some kind of catastrophe, like a meteor or a crisis.
Okay.
Or the third one is that we are living in a simulation because we have come so far with our technology in the past that we have created a whole like a game.
Yeah.
And
Elon Musk once said in some maybe in Joe Rogan podcast, like maybe we are living in a simulation, like a school project or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just insane to think about, because if you think about the Big Bang, everything started with a light.
Yes.
I mean, how could everything start by nothing?
And I always like to, as a religious person, I always like to think about in a Bible way that God created everything in that sense. And I also connect everything with the science, and I'm so happy about my belief and religion, how I believe things.
Isn't Buddhism or Hinduism a strong belief in India?
So in India, the biggest religion is Hindu, and Christians and Muslims are minorities in India, because India was originally a Hindu country, and we got a lot of influence from the Western and European culture. So if you know the Bible, like one of the disciple of Jesus, Thomas, who came to the south of India and died there. So he bring Christianity into India, like especially in the south. So I'm from the south of India. It's called a place called Kerala. It's one of the state, and there are 28 different states, and each state is like a country because it's differs in terms of language, culture, and everything. I mean, even it's very hard for people to understand each other from the different state. Yeah. So it's such a big country and population. Yeah. And in this state is like 3 times of Sweden. So it's that much big. I mean, the state that I am from. And this is one of the smallest state in India. So where I'm from.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So, and this state, the south state where I'm from, which also did some trade with Israel before Christ, like during the period of David and Solomon. So they were like selling spices, trading spices, gold, and I think cattle, building ships for King Solomon, who built the Jerusalem temple.
Temple of Solomon.
Yeah.
Where the Ark of the Covenant was placed, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what the Ark of the Covenant is? It's the box built by Moses where he kept the 10 commandments from God. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. But how? So okay. But is this connected to? Because I know in the book of Revelations. Yeah. I think it's Johannes, right? It's called Johannes, isn't it?
No. The thing is that I know a Bible in the regional version of me. Yeah. It's in a local language called Malayalam. So I never read English Bible. So
the names are different. Yeah. But either way, doesn't matter who it was. But I think the character in the book of Revelations, he gets told by God to send letters to 7 churches in Asia.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this connected to India in some sense?
It must be, because it's one of the largest place, and there must be one letter which came to India.
Yeah, we can look that up after the podcast, see if it's connected to India in some sense.
So that's how the Christianity came into picture, and India is also ruled by the Dutch, British, and Portuguese from I think 1300 to maybe 80 years back. So we got a lot of influence from the Christian culture, from the Portuguese and the British and the Dutch. So the only difference is, when Portuguese came into India and they make their icons, I mean Christian icons, and they made everything in the Portuguese way, like the clothes and everything is like Portuguese way. Yeah. I mean the Jesus was in the icon of Jesus was in Portuguese. Like, you can imagine that. Yeah. So then the British came and they changed everything to the British way. So the Jesus is a different Jesus, and the Mary is a different Mary. So so they have the.
What's the difference
I mean, the difference in terms of
Iconography or-
shape
Oh,
and
okay, yeah.
the clothes and
But it's just the same story.
yeah,
right?
it's
It's
the
the same
stories,
story, but-
everything is the same.
Yeah, but
So only the icons are different. I mean, you
yeah.
can imagine, like, if they want to, publish or promote their culture, so they just make it in their way. So in somehow it's so good. I mean, so we have everything now in India.
Yeah.
So we have the influence of many different cultures
Yeah, that's
in
good.
India.
Is the Christianity in India Orthodox or what, Catholics or?
So that's the thing. I mean, we have Orthodox, we have Catholic, we
Oh,
have Pentecost or Protestants or
Yeah, okay.
evangelical, everything.
Yeah.
So I heard that Sweden is an evangelical Christian country and also have a minority of different other religion. Is it true?
Come again.
In Sweden is a evangelical Christian country?
Yeah,
or what do you think?
Protestant.
Protestant.
Is the biggest one, I think, in
Okay.
Sweden. Yeah.
Okay.
But many here in Sweden don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
We're such a secular country.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's insane. Most people here are atheists.
Yeah.
I mean, the churches here. I went to church during the Easter here in Mantorp, and
Okay.
it was just half full.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's quite sad to see.
Yeah.
When people lose their belief in something higher.
So being a Christian, I mean, even my grandparents and great grandparents were Christian, and I went to church during all Sundays when I was a kid and when I was in India. So I went to the Bible school, I went to the masses, and I had a lot of young friends friends were at my age in India. So we were so close to the church. And when I came to Sweden, when I went to the church for the first time, I don't see any young people. And I was thinking, like, am I in a wrong time?
Yeah.
I mean, is the mass is in a different time where young
Yeah.
people are? Then I realized that, okay, it's a secular country and, people don't believe in God or anything like that.
No.
Which I mean, I respect their belief. I
Yeah,
mean,
of
in
course,
somehow,
of course.
I don't say like nobody's wrong.
No,
They are
of
wrong
course.
or anything.
Everyone are.
Because they respect my my belief,
Yeah.
so I should respect their belief as well.
But what does Christianity mean to you? Because you were born with Christianity,
Yes.
right? You were born into a family of Christianity, and you have still kept the faith
Yeah.
in Jesus Christ
Yes.
and God. So what if you could like just summarize it in some sense? What is the belief in Jesus for you? What does it all mean, and what does it represent?
I mean, personally, I have a very strong connection with Jesus. So there was a lot of problems that I was facing in the past, and at some point, when I was, I would say I was at 18 or 23. Between this time, I was so rebellious, and I was, I had a habit of questioning things, the things. Why is it like that? I mean, so I don't take belief blindly. So if you say that this is a glass, I should ask, why is it this is a glass? I mean, there was a time like before, so I always question. So when the church trying to say, okay, we have to believe in God, so I always question, like, why God? I mean, I was like atheist before, like during certain period of my life. Then there was some problems in my life, and I couldn't find solution, and then I went back to Jesus and I found solution. And from that time onwards, like whenever a problem stuck on my path, I take shelter from Jesus. So it's an easy escape for me now. So I always get help from Jesus, and I try to help people, and I think it's a fair way to what Jesus said in Bible, that to love each other, and that's the only religion. I think that's the only religion that says to love each other. Like,
what does that mean?
Love everyone. I mean, even you have some enemies, you have to love them.
What does love mean? Respect them, or
the thing is that don't hate anyone.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
if you can understand that, like,
Yeah.
So if somebody doing bad things to you, I mean, don't do. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm doing everything what he said.
No.
I'm saying that what an ideal person
I was
as a
asking you
me.
about. Yeah.
wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like if somebody is doing bad things to me, I shouldn't do equally bad things to him.
No.
I mean, I should forgive him and I should pray for him to, get a good path for him. So I love the way he preached things. I love the things that he said. I like the things that he said in Bible. So I try to follow his path.
Yeah. It's I think so as well. It's you can from my point of view, you can really rely on the stories in both the Old Testament and New Testament when you're going through rough times in life. And that's where I always I describe my belief in Christianity as what do you say in English? As a like a crutch.
Okay.
Is it called that? Like
crutches? Yeah.
Yeah, crutches. Yeah. My belief in Christianity is like a crutch. So when I'm hurt or I'm injured,
exactly,
I can rely on that to keep me forward.
Yeah.
But some people would argue that that's weak. I've heard that argument that believing in a God or trusting yourself, or even the thing about Christianity where we practice forgiveness.
I can give an explanation to that because as I said, when I was studying in my college in India, I was a bit questioning everything. I mean, belief, like as an engineer, I want an explanation to everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't take this is something. I mean, I don't believe it. I mean, I want to see it. Yeah. How does it work? I mean, I want to go deep into it and understand how the small things work in that. And so if you use the same mindset in Bible, I mean, it might be hard. And you need a little more time to understand, study deep into the Bible and understand it, explore it. And when I was asking the same thing that you asked, some people have arguments. I was that one person who argued every believer, like, okay, why is it not like this? And why don't you believe like this? And there was a teacher of mine who studied, some engineering in my school. So I asked him, he was a believer, and I asked him, like, I asked a lot of questions, and he told me this example. And you have a big bucket of water. Imagine a small bucket of water or a glass of water, and you drop one drop of ink into that water, and which turns everything into that color of the ink. And don't let that one drop into your big bucket. So that's my thing. So if there is a negative argument or something, it comes to our belief. So I don't let it happen nowadays, because I don't want to take that bad things, because I have experienced all the bad things and I have answers with me already, and I don't want to go do the same thing again and again.
No.
So that's my take.
Yeah, and also I talked to a priest before I became fully Christian, you know, because for about 2 years ago I was agnostic. I have never been atheist, because I've always had this spiritual element to me. Okay. I feel like there's more to this life than what we just see and hear. I definitely feel like there's, for example, when we talk to each other right here, there's a connection building up between us that we don't really see. Yeah. And I definitely believe in the spiritual world as well, and I come from a family that believes in that. So I talked to a priest, and I asked him. He was very, and I don't really agree with this argument, because I asked him what is more important, believing in Jesus or being a good person, and he said to me, because he was part of a, it's called the Livets Ord. It's a very quite extreme group in believing in Jesus and things like that. And he said, you really have to believe in Jesus, because when he comes back, he will like punish you if you don't believe in him. Okay. And that argument for me was like, okay, that was just quite
extreme.
Actually,
I don't buy those things.
No, exactly, and not me either.
And actually, I heard a funny story in Jönköping when I was talking to some friends in Jönköping, and I think in somewhere I see a lock in the church, or in some flag in Jönköping, like I see a church, and I was asking one of my friends, why is this key thing? So he was saying, some years in the past, like maybe 300 or 500 or 700 years back, like the church is selling keys to the people and saying that this is the key to the heaven. You have to pay eggs, crons.
Yeah, and that's the argument against religion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy these things usually.
No, not me either. But the thing is, like, and coming back to that priest, he told me at that moment, and I had a lot of discussions with him, and he told me just, the belief will come to you when it comes to you.
Yeah.
And he was right about that, because I when I talked to him back then, I thought, yeah, sure. But then it just clocked for me in some sense, and it just built on, and you can apply it in all sorts of like situations in life. And I feel like many people would just be a lot more happier if they could like just believe that there's something bigger than themselves, and that there's somebody out there like watching over them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And one thing, I as I said, I have a strong connection with Jesus personally, because there was a lot of problems in my past, like I'm small and maybe I'm not capable to do certain things, anxiety or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I prayed. It's a kind of meditation also. You sit and think about it. It not necessarily, you have to be, I mean, it's my belief that you have to sit in the room and pray for a long time. That's if you can do that, do that. Otherwise, I usually pray maybe, when I walk, like, when I go for an evening walk.
Yeah.
It's an easy for me. I mean, it's a connection with me. I mean, if you read Bible, like, the ancient times where Adam when Adam was walking through the forest or
the Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden, and the God walks with him. So I mean, I like the way that is. I mean, I remember a time when I was talking to a priest when I was 18 or 19, and he said I was going to a movie I was going for a movie in a theater, and the priest, he prayed for me. Okay, I'm praying for you. Anyway, you are going to travel for half an hour, and it's good for us to pray. And he prayed for me and my friends. And he said that when you go to the movie, you should imagine that, okay, Jesus is also with you, next to you, sitting and watching movie with you. And before there was a time where, you should consider the God with great respect, and he is so fearful.
Yeah, the Old Testament God is really like, he punishes those who
exactly.
does wrong.
And you have to be so fearful to the God.
Yes.
And my take is, maybe in the New Testament, I mean, Jesus is one of my friend. I mean, he's a closest friend of mine. I mean, it's like what you call it, ChatGPT or so
old school ChatGPT.
Yeah, old school ChatGPT. Yeah. So I can ask him. Actually, I never felt stuck in anywhere in my life. So there was always a solution in front of me. I was so optimistic because of Jesus, I think.
Yeah. And that's also one of the things people have a really hard time like grasping. All this teaching about Christianity, all the good things that comes from it. And I know many people who are very good. The best persons I know in life are Christians.
Yeah.
But you have to buy into this one thing. And that is that Jesus died on the cross and was resurrected 3 days ago. Yeah. 3 days later.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, that's hard for people to grasp.
No, I don't think. Have you seen a series called Chosen?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's so amazing. It's available on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So I watched 2 of the seasons. Actually, I think it's released 2019. I think it started releasing, and it's still continuing. So the series starts when Jesus turns 30. It's not starts from the childhood. So it talks. It's so realistic. I mean, so the Bible is like a salt. I would say. So it's so concentrated. If you read the Gospels like Matthew, Mark, or Luke, or John, so this is so concentrated, and maybe 1 month of Jesus Christ is saying in one line of
Yeah. And it repeats itself as well.
Yeah, exactly, in the Gospels.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened during one particular day, night, or what was the discussion going on. For example, Jesus gathered 3,000 people, and he gave a mountain preach, and he gave fish and bread to everyone. And another time he gathered 5,000 people. I was wondering, how can 5,000 people gather?
Yeah.
And how can he be so loud to 5,000 people?
Yeah.
And everybody who reads Bible, I mean, maybe the atheist always question. So can you speak loud so that 5,000 people listen without a mic and a loudspeaker?
Yeah.
So it's actually practically possible, and I think someone did a real
examination.
Yeah. He gathered 5,000 people and tried to preach it, and it really happens. I mean, it's not that much unrealistic, and you can imagine how did they 5,000 people gathered. So in this chosen series, I mean, they try to imagine, or they try to explain it a little bit. So on the previous day, they put notices in. I mean, they write on some wood or paper during that time, or maybe some leaf, and put it in across the streets, and people see it, and they gathered it on a particular time. That's how the people gathered during. I mean, this season is so amazing. I mean, I recommend people to watch it.
Yeah, I will check it out.
Yeah,
because there's not a lot of Jesus movies and series out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is so personally I like it.
Yeah.
This one, The Chosen. I mean, this try to explain. So because so as you said, Jesus died, and after 3 days he resurrected, and he have done a lot of things in the past, like in the last 3 years. I mean, before he died, from 30 to 33 years of his life. So he did a lot of wonders, and there are many people witnessed it. It's not the one thing that is suspicious.
It's so well documented.
Yes.
So that's the thing as well. But I think we can end it there.
Yeah.
We started with Christ and we end with Christ.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So Priyan, thank you for coming here.
Yeah, thank you
You're
so much.
more than welcome to record more podcast. It was really fun talking to you.
Yes.
Really fun.
Yeah. It's so much fun talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
And we know each other from sauna, and you're very good in swimming also.
Yeah, yeah, you've seen me.
Yeah, I have seen you swimming, and I was far behind you, trying to catch you up. And
I just swim breast swim because the first time I came to Lumbi, there was a German there, and I crawled.
Oh, okay.
And he told me in the sauna, you're shit at crawling. You need to practice. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I won't crawl anymore. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
So I just breast swim, and breast swim is just really good for, and I think you develop your back and chest and arms and shoulders, and and you stretch out your body.
Yeah.
And if you manage to breathe as well, when you go like that, it's just a really good type of exercise.
Yeah. And you are very good in swimming, as far as I see.
Yeah. Thank you for now.
And I wish I will come back to sauna and see you again.
Yeah, I hope to see you there, man.
Yes,
it was some time ago.
Yes, it's 4 months now.
Isn't it fun that we have just talked to each other maybe 30 minutes total or 1 hour total if we collect all the times we have met each other in the sauna.
Yeah.
And now we're just sitting here talking about everything.
Yes.
It's just more people can do it if you just are open to it.
Yeah.
So Priyan, thank you for coming here. And
thank you so much.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah.